Give about a second. It usually takes like a couple seconds for the stream to come online. Probably good now. Right, so we have a microphone, we have desktop audio, it is not echoing. That's the checklist. If you don't do the checklist, things go wrong and then you end up streaming for like 3 hours, recording nothing. Been there, done that. Hello, how are you? Well, early morning for me. What happened? I had my D&D day yesterday, so I reserved that as a me day. It was pretty fun. Did some we're pretty much like an in-game D&D content. Well, there's never really an in-game because it can go to like epic. But for like a regular campaign, we're going after the ancient red dragon, so that's about as cool as it gets until you go to fight the boss. But other than that, as far as what this stuff is, let's go over it. I got a lot to talk about, so we'll just get started in that. Make sure touch is off. It is. Okay, so the Gox. I did his death animation. I was doing the line work right when we left off. Yeah, but this is it completed. So nice big cut, more cuts, and then it just kind of splits. A little bit of blood splatter, and it's silly. It's very silly. So that's all his death is. And then, you know, of course, I'll have different types of enemies. I'm thinking I'm gonna have two types of enemies that can come out of them. One's the gremlin. Well, okay. There's two types of creatures that can come out of them. One's the gremlin, which is an enemy. The other one will be just like a passive type of creature that I'll have walking around in the backgrounds. I've already got them, so I'll just have it also can spawn out. So just a few things might erupt out of these things. So that was the idea. And yeah, there'll be either one or two gremlins that come out, something like that. After that, I did some more effects. First I did in poison. I decided, because there's another creature, it kind of rains poison down, and anytime like a glob or whatever, some sort of liquid, goes up and loses momentum before falling, it looks weird if it stays this streaky looking thing like it is here, this like raindrop. It looks bad. It kind of the way it curves like a little missile. I've done it before and I just didn't like it, so I had to make a version of it where it globs up. So anytime it like loses momentum, I'll have it change sprites. And I learned this doing blood, that it looks good. Yeah, make it like become more spherical and then it stretches back out when it starts going. So I just added that one little glob thing because there's going to be a raining version of poison. Alright, I made a gust. I hope it... this one I'm not too certain about. I mean, it kind of looks like a little tornado. The idea... all this thing does is it's like a little wall, basically, that pushes you around. So if you happen to be... yeah, if you get hit by it, it'll just push you back. I don't know. I have to figure out how this thing works because I haven't done anything that like pushes you around much in the game. So this one's kind of temporary. This is as good as I can get it, and it's pretty simple if you just know what I did. All I did was make this like sort of wiggly line in this backwards triangle kind of shape, like a tornado that's cruising, little dirt devil. And then I just did little lines that went in circles in multiple colors. I originally did it, oh yeah, I have it. I originally did it like this, which is like white, but I thought it's too bright and weird. So I did another overlay, which made it more like this, more just a single color. I think that one looked better. I kept them both because I'll throw it in game and decide. This might be something that I rework again. Like, it happens sometimes. I'll do an effects, and I really just don't know if it's good or not until I put it in game. So I might revisit this one later, but that is kind of the idea of it. And then when I put it in game, it's like a simple animation, but basically I have it start really small as it like floats down, and when it touches the ground it might grow up a bit, and it can be in like tall and thin, or you know, short and thick, something like that. And it's kind of like a little thing you have to jump over it or it'll push you back. Okay, I also did this. So there's an enemy that does like charming. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do for charming, but I decided to just do this, make a little pink particle. So I'll probably use particle system. Basically just spray pink dust towards the character, and if you touch it, you'll get these little heart bubbles that will come up like this. And it's kind of like a transparent heart bubble. And I'll probably make them like small, just a lot of them that kind of shake as they come up, so it shows that you're charmed. And they'll come up and then they'll like burst like a little bubble, basically. Something real simple. And they just kind of fade out. So that's what that is. I think that looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go with that. I considered some other ideas, like making it an actual like heart shape heart, maybe like a beating heart. But honestly, like this shape of heart is such a effective design for, you know, I think a lot of people around the world could look at this shape and go, oh, they're in love, right? It's, you know, a heart could be misleading. This one's, you see it and you go, okay, I get the idea. They've been charmed. It's, I've seen it in so many games that it just, like, you can't really break the mold too much, I think, well, without confusing the player. So that's what that is. And that was it for the effects. Save that, close it. Okay, and then Merman, this was our next guy. He had some slash effects to do, and then another death animation. Real quick, the slash effects. He does this. So I made it very similar to how the player attacks are. And then I'll just, it's like blue right now, but the Merman's one of the ones, its different variants are going to look a lot different. Basically, it's based off a seahorse, so it's a merman but with a seahorse instead of a fish. But seahorses have so many different types of like frills and stuff. Like there's this one that's kind of like a bunch of spikes and antlers, and there's other ones, more common ones, just like a fin. So there's two more variants of this, and I'm just gonna do like, basically I'll draw what its back looks like to be a little bit different, and it'll have different colors. It won't glow or have a different pattern, maybe like a tiger pattern. So this is one of the ones where the variants are more like, they all kind of look the same and follow the same animations. They'll have slightly tweaked different attacks, you know. One might jump around faster and one's got longer range attacks, but they're pretty similar. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is it's not just a palette swap, right? It's something I'm gonna have to be redrawing. So I don't know why I started saying all this. Basically, I could recolor the attack. I know one of the versions. Okay, so this is the Poison Forest version. You can tell because it like the way it lights up and glows. That's kind of how all the poison creatures are. But there's also going to be like a version that's on the beach, which will probably be like a bright colored traditional seahorse looking one. And there's a version that's in caverns, which will probably be something grittier and darker. I don't remember the exact differences, but I know one of them basically jumps around faster, and when it does like a diving attack, the one in the beach is usually like in the water somewhere, or in a shallow water, so I'm gonna do like a big splashing wave that goes out. So pretty much you're gonna have to jump over that wave. While this one's the most basic one, when it does its jumping attack, it just falls and then does a little animation where it lands like this. What I'm gonna do is where these claws are. I'm gonna hide this. I'm just gonna have this thing trail down following him and leave like an after image, so it'll just look like it's kind of stretching out until it actually hits, and then it'll all disappear. But I can just do that in game without having to animate anything else, because when it does this, it like jumps in the air and then it just like falls down, doing like a falling attack. And then yeah, when it touches the ground, it'll shift to this. So imagine the beach one, when it does this attack, it'll do something like this as well, but there'll also be like a wave of water that shoots off on both sides that you got to jump over or get hurt. So that's a way of doing like a variant. Does the same abilities, but there, you know, there's a twist. And then I think the other one, the cavern one's just, it jumps around faster, and maybe it has like a sonic wave kind of attack. So when I do the variant, instead of drawing this, I might just stretch it out, or I'll do one that just looks like a wave of claws or something that is actually a projectile. Something that makes it more dangerous than the easy one. Okay, so that's like the claw. That's the impact. I showed those two. And then the other thing I had to do with him was a death animation. And then I got stuck on that, and that's why I stopped, because I couldn't think of a death animation that I liked. So when I got stuck on that, I went through, and I want to show this real quick. There we go. I'll move these over to the side so the camera doesn't block it, hopefully. Okay, so the camera blocks a little of it, but not too big a deal. Right, I made a huge list of all the different types of death animations. Yeah, I wrote all this up because I needed to know. And basically, yeah, I just wrote every type of death animation I could think of, whether I've used it or not. So a lot of these kind of self-explanatory, like there's the normal type of falling, to where they fall backwards, they fall frontwards, they fall into the screen, out of the screen. Slumping, to where it's not really like falling over, it's more like you slump into your knees or something. So I thought that was a little different. Fly fall, if you've ever seen like a bird or something, when you attack it, it falls off the screen. So yeah, a lot of these things are like that, like a landing impact. It just hits the ground like a meteor, maybe it explodes in the gore. Spin is to where it like rotates or twirls as it falls down or falls off the screen, one of the two, but it's kind of a variation. So basically I'm trying to figure out how many ways can you kill something, you know, until you're just doing the same thing. All of these are different types, and if I put stars next to it, it's something that I've actually used. And if it doesn't have any, then it's something I never got around to using. But like exploding, you can have a part of it that's kind of like a fuse that burns down or explodes down until it gets their main body, and then that explodes. I have a couple like burning things that I didn't do. I figure there's a difference between the way it explodes in the fire, like it's a fire puff. You see that in Castlevania games all the time, where like the bat explodes into a fireball. And actually I didn't have it in the game at all, but I decided to do that for the merman. The reason I wasn't using that is because that's sort of a more supernatural death, and I didn't want those unless there's something magical involved. But I've decided to make the merman have something magical involved so they can burn in the fire. So I basically I'm trying to keep my world consistent. So I had to make a reason for why they die like this. So I can include this type of death in the game, and it makes sense as far as the lore. So yeah, but yeah, like burning to death would be more like it catches on the flames and moves around while it's completely engulfed in fire. I figure that's kind of different. So a few that I didn't do, I haven't done like an acid death. Nothing sort of, there's no chance for that to happen. There's no acid in the game that's not shot from an enemy. So if I wanted to do an acid death, I have to add like acid as a environmental feature. Same thing goes to like steam or boiling water. I figured those are types of deaths I could have. These different type of like crushing. I've done a lot of those. And then there's like crystallization stuff. I've got crystal, and then when the crystal like touches the ground, it shatters into pieces. But I haven't done anything that like freezes in the ice or anything that turns to stone, because those are more supernatural stuff. So those are things that I could do later. And then there's a lot of other small ones, impaling, floating. Basically, if it dies in the water, it just floats to the surface. That's a type of death. So it's not like, I'm not saying how you die, but I am saying how you die. Basically, it's not just drowning, but it's what happens after the death, or yeah, to make the animation. We have the scavenger stuff. We have a lot of beheading. I did beheading a lot. That's why I've tried not to do any more. Delimbing, screaming, the blood fountains, personal favorite. I got a couple of those now. Splitting, to where it gets split down the middle, split from the side. We're splitting the slices. And I think I've got all three of those now. Spawning parasites, so when it dies, that's kind of like what we did with the Gox. So it kind of spawns, they're not parasites, they're something that was eaten, but same kind of idea, that monsters burst out of it. And then splitting into new monsters. So to figure out a lot of these things, I basically looked at other games, like how they killed their monsters, and I looked at their bestiary and just went through it and tried to remember, you know, how each monster was killed. And a lot of them are pretty simple, like they do what I do. They explode into chunks, they burst into fire, they just fall down. Those are like the three most common ways to kill an enemy. But then sometimes you find like the unique stuff, like splitting into new monsters. There's an example in Castlevania. There's a little zombie dude. Looks like a lot of the other zombies. He walks around, but when you kill him, he just splits in half, and his top becomes one type of monster, and his bottom becomes another type of monster. So that was something I thought of, and I was like, hey, I never did anything like that, so now I am going to do something like that. I added it for one of these death animations that I couldn't think of what to do. So yeah, we'll see later. I'm going to give that to another one of my monsters, and it makes them more interesting. Instead of, I don't know what I had planned, but it was probably just them falling over and dying, but now they'll do something cool. You know, that's the point of all this, is why I've gone in, you know, thinking all this stuff out. There's like poisoning, there's them getting eaten by something, death throws, to where they like crawl or walk away or something while they're still dead. You know, they're still just dying and falling over, but it's a little more interesting because they're still moving around while they're, you know, waiting to die. It's a little more tragic. I've done that. I've started it. There's melting, self-destructing. That was something that I never did. I'm glad I did all this, because it gave me the chance to think, you know, to list this stuff out and go, oh yeah, I never had a monster self-destruct. That's kind of like a standard. So now I'm gonna have one. Basically, I have a roach monster. I think there's one or two variants of it, and I was like, all I have to do is make one of the variants blow up when it dies. It's the same thing, you know, all the way across the board, but now if you kill it in a specific circumstance, then it'll light up like the poison berries and blow up. So that's cool. It's like lightning strikes, purifying, they turning into sludge, they going supernova, which is kind of like self-destruct, but bigger. You can have them revive. Oh, so, okay, at the very bottom, a bunch of things that I haven't done. Reviving. So, again, using Castlevania as an example, there's these skeleton red bones. There's a lot of variations of them, but basically when you kill them, they just stay dead for a little while and then they come back to life. You can never really kill them. So that's something I haven't done. Mostly because that's like a more supernatural thing. I think most of my deaths that I haven't used are something that's more supernatural than less biological. There's just fading away, to where you kill them and they just fade away like a ghost or something. I don't have anything quite like that. I kind of have a fade away, though it mixes bursting into pieces as well. So there's another one where like the servants flee, so it's a monster that's been carried by other monsters, and then when you kill it, it's other monsters, you know, they flee off and run away. So it's the basic kind of death to where you know, you're just blowing up a normal monster, but it's more interesting because it causes some other effect. So even though on the surface it looks normal, it's got a quirk to it. Sucked into the void. Basically, this is a really fun death. In Castlevania, there's an enemy. When you kill it, basically this giant black hole opens up behind it and it gets sucked off into the void before it closes again. I thought that's such a cool, unique death. Again, that's more of a supernatural thing, so I haven't been able to put it in the game, but it would be fun to do that. I have like this dehydration thing, which actually I decided I was going to do something different with that. Let me write that down. So to make a reason to do some supernatural deaths, I basically just added a new god to the game. That's how I was able to justify it. Because all the magical stuff in my game happens from... all the magical stuff in my game happens from one of these gods. So your character can use magic because you have your god, or you are the god. Anytime you fight like a monster that's sort of magical, supernatural, even the undead creatures are all part of the bone god. All the vampire stuff is the blood god. But yeah, to make our merman catch on fire, or I'm gonna have the octopus thing catch on fire, I've just basically made a god of the depths. So like I have a Cthulhu god now, which is like a black octopus eye, and I haven't really thought of what it looks like, but yeah, I just invented a new god and said, there you go. That's why some of these enemies, the ones that are kind of ocean related, they catch on fire because they are part of his domain. So now I can throw in some more supernatural stuff. Okay, so yeah, and then these are like all the enemies I have in the game that die, and I just wrote down how they die. So you can see I have a lot of explode chunks. This lets me keep track of this stuff. Before it was just in my head, but writing it down lets me really see, you know, what I've used and what I'm overusing. Explode chunks happens a lot. Fall happens a lot. Behead does happen a bunch. I think there's like 3 or 4 in here, but it's not as bad as the other. But yeah, this way I just list out all the different ways of dying, and I've got all how the bosses die, how the hyper bosses die. So I'm tracking all my deaths, but by doing this, I was able to figure out what all these deaths are going to be in advance, instead of pull them up on the screen and then going, okay, now what? Now I actually know what all of them are going to do. So I spent a bunch of time doing that kind of stuff. Okay, all that aside, now we know what this guy does. This guy burns black. All the mermen are part of the new Cthulhu octopus god thing, which I don't have a name for. It's just basically it's a god of the depths. It's something that lives really deep underground. It's very Cthulhu-like. It's some tentacle type god. But these guys are kind of like, I'm considering these are its version of lizard folk or whatever. Its main soldier, its main thing. And some of the like monsters, the tentacle ones, will also be part of it, because I hadn't done their deaths yet, and now I can do them. But right, that's the animation I had to do. So really, I just want to find an animation. I think I want to have 2 different deaths. Like, they're gonna burn off, which is a pretty easy thing to do. I just have to do like a burning ember type thing. And actually, I could probably use one I've already done and just change the colors. So I'll probably do that and then just put those fires on it and have it turn into char and fade off. Pretty simple. So I'm gonna look at that. So Shaman's got a fire kind of effect already for his charge animation. Now these are all the new Shaman effects. I haven't put those in a video yet, but I do have new Shaman effects, new fireballs and stuff, lightning strikes, his new multi-jump wings, which look a lot better than the old ones. I really like those. Okay, the fire one's not in here, so I'm gonna pull this up. But yeah, one of his charge animations has a really nice fire, so I'll probably just steal it so I don't have to draw another one. Yeah, this is the Shaman's, I'll show this stuff in game later because it's already in game. But yeah, I just made it to where his little tentacle thing becomes the wing, and then it swipes down and then burns off. So I really like it. It's pretty cool. It looks good in game too. Okay, where's his charging animation? I think it's charge 1. There it is. Well, this is more of a lightning arc type fireball. I think I might just have to draw a new one. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of, but it's more of a lightning arc burn. It's pretty easy to do. It's just like a squiggly flame and then lots of little pieces coming off. It's got to come out in like little waves, like chunks of fire. I think made it look good. Yeah, that being said, we're not going to use that, so I'm just going to have to draw something new. Another problem is it's got to be a black flame. Black flames are complicated because they're never really black, are they? Let's look up some examples. Yeah, usually it's got some white in it as a highlight or just another color. The idea, I've used most of the colors for my gods. One that I haven't used was black. So I thought, and that kind of fit the theme of the depths or the void, right? It's black. So it just made sense, but to make burning black fire, actually, if I think of an example of it, it's Naruto, right? Sasuke's thing does burning black fire. Oh god, I don't know the names of it, but let's just look at it. What is it? It's called Amaterasu, right? It's named after, or Sasuke. It's named after the Firebird, I think. So it's not Amaterasu, it's Sasuke? Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it was always mixed with purple. Problem is, I've already got like a purple and black character, so I don't want to copy it. I have to do something different. I could just go straight black. Straight black doesn't read well on backgrounds. It's not as clear to see, and it's not bright. It doesn't have any like color on it. Kind of the whole idea. So you can't really see it unless it's on the right type of background. I'm just thinking, how do I make a black fire that stands out without adding color? I'm gonna have to add some sort of color. Oh, look, looking at black flames. Yeah, Sasuke just naturally shows up too, eventually. I'm just Google image searching, looking for some inspiration on what black fire should look like. I could type in abyssal fire too. I think that kind of has the same thing, which may be more what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, abyssal flame brings up some cool stuff. Usually it's mixed with purple. Black and purple. Those two colors go well together. Well, black and a lot of colors work well together, actually. I like black and green. Could think of like another color I haven't used. I think I've used them all though. Here's a good example. I've got all the colors. I've used yellow as our main color, our main character. Green is our bug character, but I was using more of a cyan green. Brown, which is more on this side. So we got yellow. Right here would be our lizard god. So, okay. Us, lizard god, bug god. Blue is the bone one. Red is the blood. Purple's the alien. White is our God Slayer, which white looks great on its own. Orange is the demon one. I think that was all of them. The only one, so the only colors kind of left maybe is a different type of purple or pink. And that's it. That or black. So there's pink or black, really. Those are the only colors available. So I'd have to make up a pink abyssal demon, because that's really all that's available. That's kind of funny. If I want to use a highlight color, it's the only color that hasn't been used by another one. Pink is so different from the feeling of this god, though. Like, think of Cthulhu, but he radiates pink energy. It's a love Cthulhu. I mean, it's funny. I could do it. I could do whatever the fuck I want. But does it fit? Like, it's... How do I make that a theme? How do I make pink scary? Basically, that's what I have to do, is I have to make pink a scary color. Another thing I haven't used is like rainbow. There's no, you know, rainbow's a type of color if you think about it. It's all the colors. It makes it different from just standard one color. Oh, I know. I should just look up some elder gods. That'll give me the right theme. They're all going to be black and green though. There's a lot of blue in here. There's a lot of green. Maybe I'll make I think the idea is I make the bug god more of a cyan type green, or more of a blue green. And I make the other one more of a just dark green. I don't know. I like using green for coloring too. That doesn't really work. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save green for coloring. Oh shit. Okay, well, if I don't want it to burn black, I can have it be sucked into the void or something like that instead. Use void as the element. Because that void and abyssal, they kind of go together. I don't know. Maybe I just use white. If it's mostly black with just a tiny white outline, it'll read as black. But the white will help give it that little bit of highlight that it needs. Okay. Use yellow. Definitely have a red. Green safe for Colio Wing. Cyan's the electric one. Blue is a god. Purple is alien god. White is god slayer. Oh, and orange is demon. Which, yeah, pink's not taken. That's really it. Oh, brown is the dirt god, rock god. I mean, as far as primary kind of colors go, these are the only two that are missing. I could do like shades of purple though. I mean, pink is kind of a shade of purple. It's a mix of red and purple, right? Just a very light red and purple. This is like a darker. Nah, same thing. Getting closer to the blue. There's flesh tone. Could be the flesh god. I mean, that goes well with tentacles. See, I did all that work to make this easy, and then I'm already stuck again for the last 40 minutes. Well, a lot of that was explaining, but I haven't actually gotten past this. Really, it's just figuring out how the hell this guy dies. I'm giving him a supernatural death. Basically, all that was to figure out how to kill him supernaturally, and it makes sense. But now I gotta think, how the hell does he die supernaturally? I could do the... Maybe I just say fuck it and we give him the most bog standard callback to retro. To where, yeah, he just bursts into a big black flame and disappears. Oh, I think I know what to do. Why don't I just make them black and it highlights based off of what color the merman actually is? Like this is a blue one. I'll just give it a blue highlight, and then for the ocean one it'll be like an orange highlight. I'll just shift the color. I think that's the way to do it. So yeah, it's like the base of it's got to be mostly black, but it'll have a highlight of the color that it's mixed with. I guess that's a good way to do it. Okay, that's what we're going with. Black flames. Alright, let's draw a black flame. Three frame animation black flame. And I'll just highlight it in blue, and we'll just do a palette swap when we change the color of the character. Yeah, I'll draw it in black. It's too easy. So while doing this, I'll explain a bit of it, or my thinking for it. It's really easy to do just an S pattern, right? When doing fire. You just do this and that or whatever, and then you go to an S. I don't know, that was a shitty example, but I find it's important to make a, consider like, there are tumors in the flame. That's how I think of it. The flame's got a tumor. It doesn't look beautiful because there's a little bit of it that decided it's got to go off and do whatever the fuck it wants to do because it's air. Air moves around. I mean, that's all flame is really hot air. And yeah, you just gotta, air moves around in unusual ways. Okay. So yeah, I just draw like a tumor that comes off of a nice flame, and then we just track what happens to that tumor while the flame kind of does whatever it wants. But I will make the tip point the other way. So that tumor was there, and now it's like over here. Basically the tumor, I keep calling it a tumor, it's a terrible term for this, but the tumor becomes its own thing. It kind of grows and burns off of the original flame, and it'll make it look better basically by the end. We'll do one more. This one will be more stretched out and thin. But that tumor has now broken off and has gone off on its own because it's separated from the body. Oh crap, I forgot I had that turned up really high. Alright, this is going to need a couple more frames to look good. Give it 2 more. Actually, I'm going to hide this. He's distracting me. The fact that the shape doesn't change much was a mistake. It looks like it kind of directly came off when really, let's fix that. It should still shift and change. I can do that very simply by flipping it. And then it just kind of burns out as it gets up here. And this burns out as well. And it starts small again. I can even make it really tiny in this part. And then it grows back into this one in some way. Okay, I hate this one. One thing I wish Clip Studio did is if it could show you your first frame on your last frame. You can do that by like copying and pasting it in, but it would be cool if it did it automatically. If there's like a setting you could set, like onion skinning, it'd be like show the first frame on the last frame so that you can make a better looping animation. I found that would be really handy a lot of times. Honestly, maybe 5's just unnecessary, and that's why this sucks. And then if I want to make this a little more chaotic, I just add an extra tumor. But instead of making the tumor form in the first one, I can make it turn, or I can make it form here. Alright, beginning a tumor. I love calling it fire tumors. It's so silly. But that's basically what it is. And there you go. Kind of a nifty looking fire. It's chaotic, but it was really simple to make. And it looks like I know what I'm doing when I really don't. I just draw lines and hope they look good in the end. I think it looks pretty decent. There you go. I love that. I love that. I've never heard drawing fire explained the way I just explained it. But that's what it is. It's a little wavy flame like you would normally draw. And you draw it and you go, okay, that looks like shit. But all you had to do is add tumors to it. Just add tumors at random locations and random things. And it makes it look better because, yes, fire grows a little piece and it flutters off. Because it's air. Air doesn't just follow the same thing. It follows and then breaks off like a tree. Okay, so I'm kind of cool with this. Now how do I make it better? I think I just make a blue highlight. I'm going to use the same blue I was using before, so it matches. It might be better if I just did this too. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just making little outlines and hoping it looks good in the end. I want it to mostly be black. That's why I'm doing it very subtly, hopefully. And now I'm going to draw something in the middle of the fire, developing, so something like that. I'm just making this up as I go. I want something that looks, I don't know, kind of nice. One thing I want is an in between for that. You know, not like that though. Guess that looks okay. And the big question is, how do I highlight it? I'm pretty sure I can't use black. Do this again. Get rid of that. Do that. Collapse these. Delete these. Because like it, you think it's fire, it's gotta have some glow on it. But if it's black, can you make black glow? Would it look good, or is it just like foggy? I can make like a smoky mist come off of it. Let's just do glow like I would normally do with different colors and see if I like them. It looks better over black. That's funny, you can't see the fire at all over black though. Yeah, when you add glow, it doesn't really add anything to black. That's kind of like the whole point. Like I can light up the little blue bits. I'm gonna try this in black and white as well. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it too well over everything. I guess it looks okay. Let's try something else though. Let's try white. Oh, that looks horrible over black. No, that's not good at all. I have a feeling, yeah, doing black's just gonna erase blue. That's really all it's gonna look like in the end. But I'll try it, just to see. I could also, ooh, I could do like a divide maybe. I don't know, it would look good in game, but it wouldn't look good. Well, I mean, it would look good in Clip Studio. It wouldn't look good in game because it doesn't divide. Oh, you can't even draw glow with black. Well, there you go. Answer solved. All right, well, tried everything. Blue seemed like the best way to go. That or have no glow. Or okay, let's try black smoke. Maybe instead of glow, we just make a smoke. I've got a nice smoke brush in here somewhere. Okay, I have smoke. Yeah, we'll do this one. I think we had to get rid of glow though. I don't think that would look good at all. And I could do like a smoke, but nah. Look up some GIFs and see if there's anything that gives me an idea. Actually, I just looked up black flame animation. Most of them are actually white flames on black with like a black background. So it's just a black and white flame basically. As an example of black flame. It kind of works. It looks better. Maybe I should try that. Then it's mostly white though. Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. I can very clearly see it here, but consider my backgrounds are never going to be this white, right? They're never going to be that bright. I mean, most of the times you fight these guys in cavernous kind of areas too, or on very dark backgrounds, so you won't even be able to see the flaming bit of it. And it will mostly just be like this little wispy blue stuff. Well, okay, it's not necessarily true. When I consider it now, in fact, it's going to be on top of this guy. So he is our background. If you also consider he won't be moving, then you will be able to see it pretty well. Actually, I could use like divide or something, as long as I make, like, I'm trying to draw the flame separately from his body, but all I have to do is draw the flame as part of his body. And then I can do stuff like dividing colors. That's interesting. Okay, wait a second, let's try that. Okay, wait, okay. Let me think of this. Before I do any of this crap, let's find the frame that he actually burns to death on. Because the idea is I'm gonna lock him into a certain frame when you kill him. He'll just like go into that frame and then burn up, right? He won't move or anything. Oh, alright, it's stuck in those 4 frames. Okay. If I consider what he'll be in when he dies, well, there's really only 3 frames it could be. It's either this one, or it could be this one. Any of these. That one as well. This one, that one, or this one. It's got to be one of those frames. Because the rest of them really have nothing to do with, yeah, anything else. I was thinking about doing variations. I think this one. It makes sense you hit him, and it kind of, even though this is falling animation, it could also be like him getting hit and then freezing in place. And the cool part about this is if you kill him in the air, it still looks good, as opposed to if he's in the mid-jump and you kill him and then he snaps to this one, it looks weird because of where his feet are, so it's got to be this one. This is the best one, it makes sense. So when you kill him, he just shifts to this frame and then burns up and dies. I think that's all it's going to be. There's not going to be any variation other than the color of the flame. So I want to grab this real quick to use for my flame animation. And that way I can do some stuff to him. Palette there. Right, so that's the fire on top of his body. And I could even do something where I like move his head up a bit. I'm not gonna do that. No, if I can. This is fine. It doesn't have to be that crazy. Let's try and divide and see how it looks. We'll divide with our blue. Okay, I don't like divide. It turns yellow because it's dividing blue into brown. That's the background. Let's try. The cool thing about this is I can just try all of them and see what I like. So normal would just be blue. That's what it actually looks like. Darken, crap, multiply. Nope. Color burn, linear burn, subtract, lighten, screen, color dodge, glow dodge, add, glow, overlay, soft light, hard light, difference. Difference might look okay. I think it would be better to use a transparent one, even though it messes up the encoding. Vivid light, linear light, and I don't think any of these other ones do much, except for maybe divide. Exclusion, darker, yeah, divide's usually cool because it like completely shifts the color of the background, but it didn't really work here. Now I can't tonal correct this, can I? No. I can do it one at a time, so let's just do this one. Right. Oh. Move the whole thing right here. Okay, this is the best example. Let's just mess with the hue. Okay, nothing looks good. I think it actually looks best when there is nothing, and it's just a solid one. There's no way to make a black flame glow that I can think of, other than making the black flame actually a white flame with a black background. Because the white part can glow. Okay, well let's try that too, because I haven't seen that. Let's turn the whole thing turn the whole thing white, which is really easy to do actually. Okay, not as easy to do as I thought, because I actually have to apply it to each frame. Shit. Okay, there it is, white. So instead of blue, we're using white. I mean, the white does kind of go with the black really well. And then I can highlight too using just white. I honestly think that looks the best. If you're trying to make a black flame, you just make white or glowing white. Now, the question is, what does it look like when it goes back to normal though? Yeah, that's fine. As long as it adds the glow to the flame itself. It really doesn't. I could just make the whole thing glow, probably. Alright, so here's what I want to do. I'm gonna get rid of the blue one. I think we're going with white. I'm gonna make this into 4 individual frames. I'm gonna get rid of that. It's going to take a lot of combining to get all this down. If I want to keep using the same frame, basically, or the same animation. Maybe it is better to just make this in game. No, the black just disappears if you do it that way. I wonder if there's something that... I'm going to try all the looks again to see if there's one that's actually kind of cool when mixed with black. Oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah. Not good. Just neat. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at it. It looks like... I don't know. It just makes the fire more wispy. A bit transparent. But it's definitely just pure black now. And the cool part about that is it'll look different depending on where I put it. I'm going to try to keep looking through others, but I kind of like subtract. And maybe I'll end up finding something new just by doing this. Oh, that's neat. Overlaying it. I gotta be careful. You select the folder when you swap through these. Difference. Difference is cool because it shifts the background color to a different color. So really it's like the flame just changes the color of what's behind it. I actually really like difference a lot. I think divide will look similar to that. I want to look at it too. Okay, so far there was difference and there was subtract. I actually think difference looks the best so far. So let's keep looking. Whoa. Virus threat. Man, go the fuck away. I don't care. Don't interrupt me with that shit. Oh, look at that. It's a negative color. See, there's something, if it used like inverted colors or something, I feel like there's something really cool that could happen here. It's odd that none of these actually invert colors. Like, they can do similar things, but not... I mean, difference is kind of like inverting colors. It doesn't make like bright whites, though, out of brown. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I wish there was like a straight up invert that could happen. The best one was difference. Oh fuck, I just did the wrong one. I did a single frame. There we go. Yeah, I think this is the best because it just alters the background color, which makes it look a lot cooler. And then you can still see the black and the white. And you just think, this is just on one part of them, but I'm going to fill the entire thing up with these little flames. Ooh, but the one thing with difference that might not look good is I don't know if it... Oh, it does go off. So that's still fine. So, yeah, the bad part would be if the flame like stopped at the arm and didn't go above it into the background. But that's fine. I think I'm going to go with this. It's the most interesting. The fact that it just kind of divides the background is cool and interesting. It's not just, you know, boring. No, I think it's the most interesting thing. And yeah, I'm just gonna like fill this entire body up with flames of different sizes, and I'll have... How am I gonna do this? I'm gonna turn this back on so the encoding's a little better. Yeah, I'll have it... I'll just make a whole bunch of these little flame files, and I'll have it... I think it'll... Shit. I don't know how to do this. Like, if I was doing it in Game Maker Studio, I know how to do it. It would be like, just create fire at X coordinate or whatever at a random size, and then shrink it and fade it away. But seeing as I'm going to do it as part of the sprite itself to get that extra effect, I need to like start making fires at the feet and have it burn up through the whole body until the whole thing's got a fire on it, and then have the ones at the feet disappear with the body. As it goes up, basically the body's just going to burn up from bottom to top. I think that would be the best effect, but it's going to be like, yes, it's easy in the fact that I don't have to draw stuff. It's hard in the fact that I've got to make a ton of different folders and figure out how that works, and then put them all on different timelines as well so that they animate differently. I think the best way to do that is to make, yeah, I'll just make 4 different flame files that each burn at different in different orders. Okay, let's do that real quick. And then I just pick one randomly. I could roll a dice or something so that it's truly random. And then I'll just, yeah, I'll put flames in spots all the way up to the top. And then I'll burn it off while erasing the back. And I'll just, I'll draw visible to layer, I think, to get rid of it. That makes sense. Okay, I like that idea. Let's make a folder because this is going to get really complicated by the end. I'm also... I'm going to make a temporary folder just to set all this shit in. Just so that my timeline, yeah, I don't have to worry about that thing. Just ignore this folder for now. Okay, so this folder is just for different types of flames. We're going to duplicate this 4 times. We've got 4 different ones. That's the standard one. Okay, so all I really want to do is move one up to the top and change the names of these, and that'll shift them around back on the timeline. So that one's now 1, this one's now 2. 3, and 4. Alright. This one, we put 1 and 2. Oh yeah, I didn't think about this, but whatever I end up doing, I gotta make sure I split it to where it'll work for the variants that I made. Like I have to put the variant in this background and do the same thing that I do here. So, I don't know. I'll figure that out here in a bit. Okay, so each one of these fires is just off by a frame. If you look at it. This one's here, that one's there, this one's there. So yeah, they're all the same fire, they just burn at different rates. Now is that correct on the timeline? Looks like it is. But this one going from 1 to 2 isn't changing at all. What the hell's happening there? Actually, they all just get stuck at a frame, don't they? What's happening? They're definitely labeled correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's going on? Fuck, I don't know. Now I need to know which is which and what's fucking up. Yeah, this one going from 2 to 3 is not changing. Is it labeled something different? What's happening? Okay, it's definitely changing. It's using the exact same picture twice. I'm so confused. How did that happen? I mean, the original one is definitely 4 different flames, so that should definitely not happen, right? Okay, 1 and 2 are the same. Did I just screw something up a long time ago and not notice it till now? Oh, I think I did. Oh, fuck me. Okay, I can fix this. There's an easy way to fix this. So if you ever go really far and screw something up in Clip Studio, the easy way to fix it is to copy the new stuff that you've made since then. You just go to edit, copy it, right? So now I got this frame and that frame copied. Now I can go all the way back to the part where I fucked it up, fix it, and then paste in these 2 things that I spent all that time on and then fix the problem. So that is one way to cheat that. So now I just need to go back all the way. Luckily Clip Studio keeps a lot of backs, but I have to go back all the way to where I fucked that up, that flame up, which I don't even know where that was. I was going through a lot of different colors and stuff. It had to be here when I combined them all. I must have combined the wrong ones. So let's see. Oh, this has got 2 frames in it. This part's good. Where did I screw it up? This part's good. This is the part that's screwed up. It is copying this twice. Everything else is good though. Right, this is 4 different frames? Yes, that's the 4 original frames. The glow was just weird. This is where I combined everything. I bet the glow has something extra in it. Yeah, this part's gotta have something. Yeah. It has the lines in it. Oh, okay, that's where it got screwed up. So the lines were in this one when they weren't supposed to be. It's gotta be this one because those lines show up. Okay, so this one just has to be cleared and redone. Everything else should be fine. Though that looks like crap too. Let's just redo this whole fucking glow layer. Because something went desperately wrong here. So as long as I don't copy again, that stuff that I copied earlier is still in my clip folder or whatever. Okay. I'm going to can merge these safely. Actually, what I should do is just go ahead and paste that bit that I had from before. Now I got those folders and stuff back. Delete this. Delete the. We're gonna have to redo all that actually. So it's just gonna be these ones have to have the new stuff in it after I fix it. So these are the old ones. Now they've been corrected without an extra frame. Now, starting at 4, merge visible. That should fix the problem I was having. I'm glad I noticed that. Like, is there, I mean, I noticed it pretty late, but it could have been worse to. Actually, I can just delete all this now. And we just name these what they're supposed to be. This is a strange kind of animation in that it's not your typical thing. It's more of to save time, instead of drawing individual individual flames, I'm just doing a lot of copying and pasting to make something. Which, honestly, by the time I'm done, you wonder if this was faster than if I just drew stuff right from scratch. So, I don't know. Really, it could go either way. Oh. I was hoping I could keep the keyboard open through that whole thing. I should get a small keyboard for this. It kind of sucks not having a keyboard, having to use that touch keyboard. I really don't like that thing. I think it would be better to just have a tiny keyboard, like I set it above it so I can actually press keys. It's one of the things that slows down a lot. It probably does slow me down a lot more than if I had a normal keyboard that I can interact with. Things like changing layer names would go so much faster. I wonder, I don't know how tablets work though. If I installed, like, I'd have to get a keyboard that's got one of these goofy zip drives. It's the unusual 3.0 zip drive or something. I don't know. It's called something different. It's the round zip drive, not the normal type. I'd have to get one of those, or a keyboard that works for one of those. And then, I don't know if, like, the tablet will just stop using this one. It'll stop pulling that one up. If it does, then that would be okay. Okay. All of that. Now we should be back to normal. Let's drag them all out and make sure. I think it looks good now. Yes. Okay. There. So, same fire animation on 4 different variations of the timeline. So, basically, I took one flame and added enough variance into it. You'll probably won't notice it's the exact same flame being copy and pasted all over the whole thing, right? Now it looks like 4 different types of flame. And if you add in changing the size of it, or I could do something like flip it horizontally to also make it. So basically, yeah, I just draw one flame, get the absolute most amount of miles out of this one. So I think, okay, the best way to do this, now that I think about it, I just put the flames where they go in one big folder. So this is the copy folder. Let's do this. Yeah, and then I'm just copying ones down and growing and shrinking them individually. So I think I am going to get a dice and just roll them 1 to 4. This will be 1. This will be 2. This will be 3. This will be 4. Ooh, why does it say 44? There we go. Yeah, I'll get a dice, I'll roll them, and then I'll just put it where the foot is, right? Like, let's say I got 4. I'll grab 4, I'll throw it in this folder. I'll hide these. Well, actually, better to do it this way. Hide the folder. There we go. And I grab 4, I bring it to where I want it to be. Starting from the bottom to the top. I'll probably make these tiny. Right, we'll just say this is the first one, as an example. I'll do this, and then shrink it a bit. Shrink it a bit. It looks a bit different. There you go. And that'll be the first one. Then I'll do the second one. And basically I'll fill this whole guy up with until he's covered in flames. All of them randomly generated. And then, yeah, I'll just reveal the ones from the bottom to the top first, and then do it in reverse order, and erase the guy in the background as I do that. It does seem like a lot of work, but the end result will be you kill this guy, he turns into this frame, and then he catches on fire from bottom to top, burns away. And it should happen so fast that the player won't even notice how much time I put into making it, because he'll just burn away, and you'll be like, ooh, that was cool, and then you'll get on with your life. But meanwhile, I was like, that was a lot of work. Anyway, I think I'm going to just end this stream here. I like doing the small streams, I think. Do a small stream, show the stuff I've worked on, maybe show some of the processes that are new that I haven't shown in a previous stream, you know? I kind of like doing it that way. That way, you know, there's always something a little more interesting, even though, I mean, as interesting as it can get doing this stuff. There we go. But hopefully by the end of this, I'll have this one done, and then I'll move on. Oops. I'll move on. Just a lot of death animations, but now the difference is I know how they die, so Should be pretty simple. I've written down how each of them dies. Yeah, some more death animation, some more projectiles. But that's it. I'm gonna end this stream here. Later.